Today's episode, I'm going to be going over some tips and tricks that you can use to increase your chance of being found on YouTube through their search algorithm. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be looking at one of the viewers from the last video's channel. He commented saying that he'd hit a bit of a rut with his YouTube content creation and was looking forward to the future content. So I thought it would be a nice idea to actually use his channel as an example for some of the things that you can do to improve your exposure on the platform. So before we get started on the video, as ever, if you are one of the people watching this video who are not subscribed to the channel, please do press subscribe, press like, make sure that you help us out with that YouTube algorithm. That's actually something that I'm going to be covering later on in the video. But yeah, if you could do that for us, that would be amazing, because this is a new channel and obviously we're trying to grow and get exposure on this one ourselves. Now, a disclaimer before I go into the video. I have had permission from Mad888, who is the content creator in question that I'm going to be having a look at for this video. I've had a chat with him. I've explained what it is that I'm going to do. Now, in addition to that, I'm not actually going to be going over anything to do with the actual content itself in the channel. So the things that I'm going to be looking at and assessing with his content and his channel and the way that he's sort of managing it is nothing to do with what's actually in the videos. What I'm going to be looking at is increasing your discoverability on the platform. So doing everything that you possibly can before somebody watches the video to actually make sure that you get the views. And then at that point, it kind of becomes down to you to create engaging content that people want to watch and engage with. You'll hear people talking about the YouTube algorithm quite a lot, and sometimes it's difficult to understand exactly what that is. But to give you a bit of a background into myself and how I know about these things, how I know about search engine optimization and that sort of thing, I've actually been working as a digital marketing professional for the past 10 years or so for various companies, and then for the past few years I was working for a digital marketing agency where I ran a team whose job it was to ensure that companies showed up high within the rankings on Google. So YouTube in itself, although it's a hub for videos and content creation and things like that, is effectively just a search engine. It's actually the second biggest search engine in the world next to Google. But however, YouTube is owned by Google, so effectively it is just an extension of the Google platform. And when people talk about the search engine, the search algorithm within YouTube, what they're referring to is YouTube's referral system, how it allows videos to be distributed and seen by people who aren't necessarily subscribed to the content, but may have interest in viewing what is contained within the videos. YouTube's algorithm is quite tricky, as with Google's, and it is designed at the end of the day to provide quality content for the person searching. It's not designed to help the content creator at all. So as with Google, the worst thing you can possibly do is try and cheese the system, try and break the system, or try and find ways to bump yourself up there for a short term. The thing is with that, Google is constantly changing their algorithm. They're constantly changing and evolving it to make sure that the person searching for the videos on the internet is finding the type of content that they want to watch and the type of content that they will enjoy and stay on the platform with. Obviously, one of the main things that people use as revenue for YouTube is advertising, and Google takes a split of that. So Google wants you to be watching videos for a long time. They want you to be staying on the platform. They want you to be engaging with things, because at the end of the day, that's where they make their money. So when we start looking at a channel, a YouTube channel, or even a website, we need to look at how Google perceives this content rather than how a viewer perceives the content. So Google as a entity is not a person. Although some moderators and stuff exist within Google, the person who's actually assessing where your channel shows up and things like that is effectively a system. It's a piece of code or a robot which will come out and watch your videos, look at the content within your videos, and decide where it should be within the platform. Now, unlike viewers and people who are watching the content, this code, these robots, these crawlers, can't actually watch and engage with your video like somebody in your general audience can. But what they can do is they can look at factors which sort of contribute to make up a whole as to why somebody should watch your video and why your video should be ranked higher than anybody else's on that particular search. So how does this robot decide whose video should be at the top of the list, who should be seen and distributed to the masses? That's actually an extremely difficult question to answer because it's not something that Google or YouTube put out in the public. It's not designed to be discovered. I mean, at the end of the day, their goal is that you create good quality content. However, there are things that you can do to make sure that those Google crawlers and that code understands that the content that you're putting out is relevant to a certain topic. Okay, so I'm here now on Mad888's channel, and we're just having a quick look at how it's laid out, how the content has been described, and just some general basics with the channel setup. Now, what I am using here is a Google plugin called TubeBuddy. This allows you to see a little bit more information about somebody's YouTube channel. So if you are interested in getting TubeBuddy to see some of the metrics that I'm going to be looking at here, links will be in the description below, so make sure that you go over there. It's just a plugin that you install into a Chrome browser, and it will allow you to see a little bit more data about an SEO perspective on the YouTube channel. So looking at this here, the first thing that I notice is that the channel doesn't actually have any keywords used. Now, keywords are identifiers that Google uses when it's assessing what type of content will be found on a channel. If your keywords in your channel relate to the videos that you're putting out, Google will see a consistency between the two. So the first thing that I would say within seconds of landing on this page is that Mad888 needs to add some keywords to his channel which relate to the videos that he's putting out, and this will allow Google to reference the two and see that, okay, this person's putting out content based on these keywords, he's also putting out videos based on these keywords, so his channel obviously relates to the two, which gives you the almost building influence, I guess, within a certain genre of content that you're putting out on YouTube. Okay, the next thing that I can see here is that the titles that are being used, actually only one of them out of these 6 videos that you have on the splash screen is actually of a length that you can read the whole thing all at once without having to click into the video itself. Titles are important, and containing keywords in those titles is also important. But also from a user perspective, you need to remember that you're trying to capture somebody to click through onto your video, because another metric that YouTube and Google use is how many people actually click on your videos. And you get people to click on your videos by having an engaging thumbnail and a really strong title, which tells them at that point that this video is the one that they should be watching to find this information. Okay, so the third thing that we're going to look at here, as I said, this is within seconds of landing on the page, is the thumbnails. So these thumbnails, which have been used here by Mad, unfortunately, I can see when I look close up that there's text on them, but it's lost. What you need to remember is when you put a thumbnail out is that these images get scaled down, and most people who actually watch YouTube are watching it on mobile. So if this looks small on a screen, it's going to look tiny on a mobile phone. And it really sort of drives away the engagement if you haven't got a clear message as to what that video is containing. And that's kind of what you need to do with your thumbnails. So make sure that they're clear. If you're going to include text on them, put the text bold, be short. You know, don't bog it down with lots and lots of text. It needs to be very clean, very clear as to what it is that the person's going to be watching. And then that paired with a really solid title will result in that click-through rate being increased on YouTube. So on the subject of thumbnails, what I've done is I've actually taken one of Mad's most recent thumbnails, put it into Photoshop, and I've created a version of it, you know, literally within a few minutes, which pulls the same message across, but will be more obvious for somebody to know what they're going to be clicking on. It doesn't require them to read a whole lot of information to be able to get that initial interest to be able to click through onto the video. So what we'll do here is we'll just have a quick look at the before and afters of a thumbnail, just to see the difference between the one that I put together, and bear in mind this was literally put together in a couple of minutes versus the previous one that Mad put out. Now, one thing that I would say with the design aspects of a thumbnail is that they are personal. You want to build your own style, your own brand, and your own feeling about the thumbnail so that people know that they're associating that with your type of video. What I actually did was I asked Hell Hades, because he produces most of his thumbnails himself, if he could produce a thumbnail if he was to effectively produce this video and put this video out, what he would do. And this is an example of what Hell Hades would have done. And again, this was put together very quickly, but as you can see, the information and message that's going out in this thumbnail versus the original is so much clearer, it's cleaner, and it's so much more obvious when you're viewing it on a mobile, when it's scaled down, as to what the content that you're going to be watching is about. So before we go any further on this video, just for fun, I have my personal opinion as to which thumbnail is better, but can you stop for a second and just comment down below whose thumbnail you're more likely to click on? The original one, the one that I put together in just a couple of minutes, or the one that Hell Hades put together in just a couple of minutes again? Let us know in the comments below. So it's 1, 2, or 3. Comment below, and we'll see who is the victor. Personally, I think Hell Hades won on this one, but yeah, let's see what you guys think. So the next thing that we're going to be looking at is inside the actual videos themselves, and the way that the descriptions and the titles are used to manipulate effectively the algorithm to allow Google to understand what the video is about and who should be watching this type of video. Now, on the side of my screen, again, you can see the video analytics. Now, this comes again with the TubeBuddy plugin. Again, links in the description below. This is not a sponsored thing. It's something that I actually use on a daily basis, and I love the system and product that they produced here. So if you are interested in finding out more in depth about the way that the algorithm is viewing your content on YouTube, install TubeBuddy. It's massively helpful. So as you can see here, we've got effectively a summary at the top, which tells you the total views, the amount of comments, and the amount of likes and dislikes that are there on the video. Now, the second section is the more important section, which is what I'm going to be looking at now, which is the SEO. SEO is effectively a short term for search engine optimization. So if we if we hover over the top here, you can see TubeBuddy SEO score for the video is 15 out of 100. Obviously, what we want to do is try and push that up as high as we possibly can without impacting, too much effect on the video. So as you can see here, the TubeBuddy SEO score is looking at the tags in the title and the description, the tags in the title, the tags in the description itself, and the total tag characters. Also, the total words that are being used in the description itself. So if I scroll down here a little bit and have a look at Mad's description that he's put in here, really, there's no words here which are going to help improve your searchability. Now, remember, as I said before, YouTube is a search engine, and these bots and crawlers that go out and look at your videos and find out where you should be ranking within the Google search rankings, they can't watch videos. They can actually translate your videos into text and understand what it is that you're saying within the videos, but that's actually a different subject altogether. What they can do is look for words that you've used within your description. So one of the major things that I would do is bulk out this description a bit. I would put more keywords. I would put a copy of the title. Write a description of what it is that's actually going on in the video. Use your title. Use other paragraphs and messages. Write about yourself. Write about the fact that you're a content creator for, in this example, Raid Shadow Legends. So if we're using Raid Shadow Legends as the focus keyword, obviously you've got it in the title, but you want to be repeating that at least once in the description, that exact words, and it needs to be exact. You need to write Raid Shadow Legends. It can't just be Raid It can't be Raid RPG or something like that, because that will count as another keyword. What we're focusing on is that one particular word. Now, in addition to that, over here, over on the right hand side again, looking at the tags, effectively we've got 3 tags used in this video, and all 3 of them are actually hashtags. Hashtags don't really work the same as on Google. There's very little point in using them as a tag. When Google says tag, it doesn't mean hashtag like another social media platform may, like Twitter, Facebook, things like that. What it means is actual keywords that people may reference to when searching for these videos. So one thing that I would say, Mad, is if you remove these hashtags, you're going to then suddenly have 3 solid keywords, but I would definitely bulk it out a bit more. You know, this particular video that we're looking at is about Geomancer. So using a tag like Geomancer Raid Shadow Legends, Geomancer Ultra Nightmare, Geomancer Clan Boss is all going to help improve that visibility within the YouTube platform. And now again, what you want to do is tie as many of those tags into your description as well. Now, one thing that I will say, and it is another sort of disclaimer, is do not just bulk your descriptions with keywords. You don't want to just flood keywords. What you want to do is write valid descriptions, little paragraphs and little snippets of content which are going to be engaging to read. But remember that these aren't actually for people watching the video to read. What they're designed for is for the Google's crawler or bot to go in and see what the video is about, how it relates to the content, and how it relates to those keywords that you've focused on in your tags and on your channel itself. So guys, these are just a few very quick tips that you can do to change the way that Google and YouTube see your content that you're putting out on your channel. By making these changes, improving your thumbnails, improving your titles, improving your descriptions, it's going to massively increase your chances for people to actually find your videos before you even start looking at the quality of content and whether people are engaging and staying and actually enjoying the stuff that you're putting out. So what you need to do is make sure that you're effectively doing everything that you can to allow people to find your content before you start focusing on how good the content is. Because at the end of the day, you could have the best video in the world, but if you don't do these things, because of how saturated the YouTube market is, nobody's going to see it. The most incredible footage, the most incredible video in the world will potentially never be seen on YouTube because nobody will find it. You just can't find it. So guys, if you do like the content that we're putting out on the channel, again, please do subscribe, press the thumbs up, because YouTube algorithm absolutely loves that. It's something that, again, I mentioned earlier on, but this is another metric that Google and YouTube look at when they're trying to rank videos. The more thumbs up, the more likes, the more shares that you get, the more likely that they are to recommend you to somebody else who hasn't necessarily seen your content yet. So yeah, please support the channel. If you do have any pointers yourself that you'd like to add, please do put it in the comments below. At the same time, if you want any pointers on your YouTube channel, if you're looking to get started, again, comment below. I do read all of the comments along with the other guys in the team. So if you're looking for help with your channel and it's something that wasn't necessarily covered in this video, mention it down below and I will certainly see if there's something I can do to help. Again, if you want to see more videos like this where we jump into viewers' channels and try and give them a few pointers just to help improve their searchability and growth on the YouTube platform, then I would love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.